Hello, it's me, the Avatar Fanatic, and today we will be reviewing episode 7 of the Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix live action adaptation, The North. The episode starts with Zhao tricking one of Zuko's soldiers into having Zuko go into like a canoe or a mini boat. He gets blown up by Zhao, but miraculously survives. The gang gets to the Northern Water Tribe. The views we get of the capital city is ridiculously beautiful, very, very well made. The gang get introduced to Master Pakku and the rest of the tribe. The gang are excited for what is to come, but are also aware of an imminent threat of the fire invasion. The Northern Water Tribe is as well, as they have spotted circling ships. The beginning of the episode is fairly straightforward. How introductions usually happen, a big entrance and an introduction to an important character for the episode. Iroh and Zhao talk about who could have assaulted Zuko. Iroh knows it's Zhao's doing, but wants to hear a take from Zhao to give information throughout the episode. Zhao lets Iroh know he will be attacking the Northern Water Tribe at Ozai's command with a massive fleet. This paints Zhao as giving stuff away he doesn't have to, but it kind of makes sense for two reasons. Zhao's speaking in confidence with Iroh, and Iroh is also trying to siphon information off of him for the whole episode. Zhao letting something slip is uncharacteristic of his character in the first episodes, though. I really like Zhao has this heightened role where they go more into his thought process as a character. And he gives more of a reason for his actions, where in the original it was more so he had his own thoughts, but he mainly just followed orders and he did them. He's had his own little motivations along with Ozai's orders, more so in the live action. In conclusion, they're telling too much and they're not showing enough. I would say dictate more of Zhao's thoughts with his actions. That's what I would do. Pakku assigns Katara to train at a healer building without Katara knowing about healing. Sokka sees Yue and gets that Suki fever all over again that we see in the Warriors episode. They're both at this gathering and they get into a conversation about responsibility and their obstacles and things. Basically bond and mini plot building that's pretty straightforward. Although, when there's so little content and not much story built yet with not many foundation blocks, I would say to not try and focus on things that you've experienced in the past and build more blocks for the future. You've been having the same conversations with different people for 7 episodes. It was Aang with Sokka, then Suki talking with Sokka, then the village folks. Now Yue, it's like build some new blocks too. Don't just make the blocks large with no cracks in between. You need blocks to fill the cracks and to make the structure convincing and stable. And I understand it's a relatable topic to two people who have had similar experiences, but talk and show Sokka around the village, what there is to offer, make another memory or something. This is all seeming a bit rushed in terms of the building towards the final episode rather than taking the time. Having this conversation, but also other things to be able to relate to the characters more. Not just we relate about this, but we relate in general as people and as souls. Katara enters the healing lab, enjoys her lesson, but is more concerned about fighting the incoming firebenders. The leader of the healing lab says women aren't allowed to fight, and Katara gets angry at the fact that society has placed these walls onto what women can do. I don't know why Katara was talking to this healing woman about this, because she has nothing to do with the rules being that way. Also, it feels a little bit bare bones. There's only one scene and it's like not enough. Katara doesn't even know anything else about the village, so she's just commenting on such a basic issue. Her whole worry went from repelling the attack from the firebenders to just fighting people because of this sexist thing, and it was kind of what happened in the original. Was just strange. It's not even like me disagreeing with her. It's just not the best time to confront people over something like this. You can easily let your guard down in a time like that. Aang calls for Kuruk, basically gets cooked in his entire discussion with him. Says that he's a failure for not training, basically, that there's no team in Team Avatar, it's de-Avatar and things like that. It's true what he's saying. He's teaching Aang accountability and a blunt message, and Aang needed to learn that. He has to show training progress. One critique is that there's really none of that here. Again, it's going over blocks that have been talked about, but it's also teaching a new lesson, so the crack in the structure is being filled a bit here. It's conversation too between Sokka and Yue, and they basically have already kissed. It's extremely rushed in terms of like extremely meaningless conversation, meaning something, and then the characters getting all emotional, and to me it's just Make the episode longer, more comprehensive with that romantic arc, in my honest opinion. The episode, like, episode 1 went from, like, an hour, and then, like, episode, like, 7 is 40 minutes. You gotta add some more in there. 40 minutes, the arcs were just extremely rushed. We saw Katara approach one person in the city. We saw Sokka approach just Yue. We saw Aang approach nobody. Maybe in the final episode, before the invasion, there might be some, fortification preparements or something like that will add to the episode 7 and kind of build off of it a little bit, but I really don't anticipate much of it. Maybe it's the case, but I assume most of the episode is just going to be focused on the invasion. So I don't know. I think that they should have done more with that. We discover Azula will be in the last episode. That's basically going to be her introduction, which I like. I was criticizing the show before for not introducing her, but making her entrance important is a good solution and perhaps better. Katara confronts Pakku and they get into a fight. Just as in the show, Pakku wipes the floor, but Katara does much better than expected. This is what the original and live action follows and what it does well. It shows Katara getting better at her waterbending throughout the season, culminating in a battle where she does enough to impress. It's building onto a block that is built already. This develops Katara as bold, courageous, and skillful at her craft, and gives the viewer respect. A shame is that we didn't see this as much with Sokka and his boomerang. We saw it a little with the general combat with him, and with Aang we really haven't seen much development at all, apart from maybe very little with the waterbending early on. As he's already a master in airbending, he knows how to waterbend decently, and I believe he earthbended against Boomy once, but that's, I think, the only occurrence. There needs to be more plot lines with bending or combat in mind with Sokka and Aang, as it's part of them as people. For example, in The Legend of Korra doing terribly against these spinning air things and learning them over time or whatever, something like that. The waterbending in the Pakku versus Katara battle was also pretty decent. I mean, yeah, it could have been better. But honestly, I didn't see much of a problem with it. Maybe it could have been a little bit more fast-paced. Again, it wasn't like a serious battle, like an exhibition. It was more like an exhibition. Speed wasn't really needed, so it's fine with me. Overall, this episode had some decent aspects of it, but some deficiencies, so overall I'd rate it a 3.5 for a 4 out of 10. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to know when I upload more content. Also, comment down below your thoughts on this episode, The North, and it's been me, the Avatar Fanatic, out.